time and everyone who is here on time, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining. If you're not one of the panelists, if you can go ahead and mute, you're free to stay on camera if you prefer. You won't be part of the recording as it's speaker view unless we get to the question and answer panel at the end. For anyone who just joined, you probably saw this is being recorded. I will send it out to everyone who registered, as well as any links we reference throughout. And then this will go on the district YouTube at some point in the near future. So it will be accessible if you have to leave early or you want to share with anyone in your clubs. For anyone who isn't familiar, and I know it says District 38 on the bottom, I'm Hannah Merschen. I'm currently serving as the Public Relations Manager for District 38. I'm also part of Voorhees Toastmasters Club, where I'm the Vice President of Public Relations as well. In my day job, I work at AKCG Public Relations Counselor, so public relations is my world day in and day out. Recently, for the club contest, I found myself clicking through the various social media pages for the clubs. I was looking for photos to do a compilation. And that's when I realized a lot of our clubs need a boost in engagement and content. So instead of just saying it, I wanted to find a way to equip everyone to actually do that. With help from the district trio and just my own investigation, I knew there were a few folks who were doing a really good job on their personal profiles as well as their club profiles, and those are our panelists today. Our first panelist is Shane Cohen, DTM, who joined Toastmasters in 2012 and quickly rose to leadership roles at the club, area, and the district level. His leadership roles include Vice President of Public Relations for Susquehanna Advanced Toastmasters Club, as well as President of that same club. Shane has also served as Area 13 Director and Public Relations Manager last year for District 38. In his professional role, Shane serves as Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations at Lehigh University. He is passionate about mentoring and empowering others in public speaking and leadership. Thank you, Shane, for joining us today. Lavina Amladi joined Toastmasters in 2023 and quickly volunteered for the role of Vice President Public Relations for Princeton Toastmasters Club. In her professional role, Lavina is a Senior IT Governance and PMO for NYC Health and Hospitals. Lavina is a certified Scrum Master, Project Management professional, and has obtained multiple professional IT certifications. Our third panelist is Tiffany Beltran, who joined Toastmasters in 2022 and currently serves as president of Millville Speakeasy Toastmasters Club. She has also previously held the role of Vice President Public Relations for this club. In her professional role, Tiffany is a New Jersey real estate broker for Keller Williams, where she is consistently ranked as a top agent in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Tiffany's real estate ventures led her to create Viral Media, a boutique multimedia company that complements her business. Tiffany's personal Instagram account holds over 20,000 followers, and she uses her passion for social media to advance Speakeasy Toastmasters Club as well. So thank you to all our panelists for joining today. I'm going to stop share so that you can see them as they all share their responses to these questions. We're going to run through. If you want to drop questions in the chat throughout, if it makes sense, I'll engage with them. And if not, we'll hold them till the end. But we should have time to address them all. The first question is starting at the basics. So what social media sites are you most active on and what types of content do you post on there? I'm going to go ahead and for the first question, do them in the order I introduced. So Shane, if you can take it away.
Sure. Thanks, Hannah. I'll say as far as the social media that is used, I will say I'll be representing Susquehanna Advanced Toastmasters. So an advanced club is slightly different for those of you that aren't aware. Advanced clubs essentially pull from existing Toastmasters clubs because it's a requirement. So just so you know, there's a little bit different than a community or corporate club in terms of who we're looking at in terms of membership. So with that said, Facebook has been used very steadily for our club. So use Facebook, LinkedIn heavily, and then more recently using TikTok. And Instagram, I haven't, I'll just say we were using Instagram, but I mean, personally, it's for the advanced club, but didn't find that as attracting as many as the other platforms for our particular advanced club. I'm guessing Tiffany may have a different perspective on that. So anyway, that's
Thanks,
my
Shane. How about you, Lavina?
Thank you, Hannah. And I kind of share Shane's ideas there. I use Facebook extensively for Princeton Toastmasters and LinkedIn. As far as Facebook goes, I have to say that I post my updates for Princeton Toastmasters on the Princeton Toastmasters page, as well as the District 38 page. And I do a lot of hashtags to all the colleges and schools and clubs around the area in the Princeton and South Brunswick and New Brunswick area. So it's literally, it's Facebook and LinkedIn for us. I haven't explored Instagram as yet.
Great. Thanks, Lavina. Tiffany?
For us, we use mostly Facebook and Instagram. I have set up a LinkedIn account for us when I was VP of PR, and also a YouTube channel that we are still using sometimes, but mostly Facebook and Instagram. I find that Facebook is more locally based. Facebook is where we can find people to come in person, but Instagram, we get a further reach because of my following and because of the way, which I'm sure we'll get into soon, how we can collaborate with other people. I get a lot of people from like out of state and outside of local through Instagram, but YouTube is starting to grow as well. I'm not on TikTok yet because I personally don't use it as much, but I definitely want to. We have a lot of content of great speakers in my club that I think we can cut up and make into short, concise videos that can attract more people. And another, it's not really a social media platform, but Google Calendar is like my kryptonite. And I make sure to invite a lot of people every meeting. So I'm constantly communicating with people through that. They'll email me back if they can come or not, but at least they're getting reminders every week with our info, the Zoom link, location, and time.
That's great. For Voorhees Toastmasters Club, I'll echo that we've also had success with Facebook. A lot of people tend to think it's a dying platform, but I find that most people I know still check in once or twice a day, whether it's through Marketplace or engaged in a group. They just want to see what the high level updates are, even if they're not posting themselves. And I found it interesting. One time I posted about our club that we were having a meeting that evening. Nobody liked the post, not even one person. But then somebody came to the meeting and said that that's why they came. They're like, I saw your Facebook post, so I showed up. So sometimes people see things even if they don't engage. So don't lose heart.
Definitely.
Right.
All right. Our second question, and I'll just let whoever wants to jump in. How do you encourage the members within your clubs to participate in creating content or participating in content that you're curating?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
So I use Canva a lot, and Canva is a great tool. If you guys haven't heard of it yet, it's free. It's amazing. They offer a lot of templates where you can even download the Toastmasters logo and grab the same colors of that logo and make a marketing brand kit. And so I started to create flyers with the members' photos to get them excited about the meeting with their roles, so they feel like they're contributing and they are proud to show that they're, doing this. And as long as it's pretty and aesthetic, that they're happy to share that and collaborate, like on Instagram and Facebook. And I make sure to tag a bunch of people.
That's great. And Lavina, you are particularly gifted at this because you got all types of members to participate in the District 38. What's your 2024 goal? So I'd love to hear your insights.
I use Canva to create a lot of content, but as far as engaging folks at Princeton Toastmasters, we do make announcements and we let everyone know, hey, we're taking pictures and we're going to publish them on Facebook. We're very fortunate. Folks at Princeton Toastmasters, as well as the guests, love posing for our pictures. And I love taking a lot of pictures. So a lot of pictures for every event. If we have open houses, we have picture booths. We have somebody who volunteers, our SAA volunteers to to put up a picture booth. So we, and we take a lot of candid pictures and stuff like that and post them all over the internet. And we get some good responses there. I would say a lot of pictures. I haven't explored the videos, except for the time when you asked us to provide some video content around the holidays. That went very well. People were very happy, to make a video on themselves and post a little message about their journey at Princeton Toastmasters. I quite like that, and I think I'm going to steal that idea.
Please do. And if anyone isn't familiar, at the beginning of the year, I asked anyone in District 38 to share a 30-second video of what their 2024 Toastmasters goal was. So some people said take an officer role, give a certain number of speeches, invite a friend. And we had 30 plus people from across the district participate, and literally probably half of them were from Princeton Toastmasters Club. So it was a fun one.
Is it too late to contribute to that?
No, yeah, please jump in.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm definitely going to encourage that.
I do want to, Tiffany, is your club, I know Princeton meets in person. Is your club meet in person also, Tiffany, or is it?
It is. It's hybrid.
Okay,
But we're starting to get a lot of people in person, like average at least 10, which is so exciting.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'll say about this is good because we have a good spread. So we have Princeton, which is all in person. We have a hybrid, and SAT, we were meeting hybrid, but now we're, at least as of right now, we're all virtual. So just, we have a good kind of mix here.
Yeah,
So I'll say, I'll kind of echo what Tiffany and Lavina said. We do, even though it's virtual, I always take a kind of a screen group photo. I'll let everyone know when that's occurring so they can turn their cameras off if they do not want to be included in the photo. And then we kind of count down, take a nice photo of them smiling, and then that goes into a summary afterwards, as well as our posts. And then, as Tiffany mentioned, and Lavina, tagging our members, especially Facebook and LinkedIn. They really, in terms of getting some engagement from them, that definitely is very, very helpful. And then from the video standpoint, I mentioned TikTok. I do inform them again that we do record all of our meetings, and so I've taken some clips from meetings of certain portions, like we have educational moments, so a clip from educational moments, and put that into the video that then goes on to TikTok. So again, just giving them a little blurb of the educational aspects that they'll receive from attending an advanced club.
Do you use a certain video editing software for that, Shane?
I was using combination of Canva and then also the video editing tool that's within TikTok.
Great.
Yep.
Just taking my
That's a good idea, Shane. I like that.
I will say just from a TikTok standpoint, I haven't done it as consistently as I would like to, but I was surprised. I mean, just to give you a sense, the first video I created had without promoting it or anything, had over 10,000 views, which I was very shocked at. I forget how many comments it had. So I was very shocked at just, at least the engagement I saw from that. So.
Right. It has a huge outreach, TikTok, just like Instagram.
Yeah. I need to do
Definitely.
that. I'm inspired, Shane.
We hit on this a lot already, but I was going to see if there was any other tools that you guys use. It could be beyond creative, if you use a scheduling tool, anything like that, that maybe other people could take advantage of.
I love CapCut to edit videos. That's my favorite video editing app right now, CapCut.
Is it free?
It is.
Okay, all the better.
Yes.
How do you spell that, Tiffany?
That's CAPCUT, CapCut.
CapCut. Thank you.
And I would be really interested to learn what you guys use for scheduling. I know I use Google Calendar, which is great, but I would really love, I'm considering Evite. I just haven't used it yet, but I would love something where we can get people to either register for the meetings in advance or just show that they're going to be there. What do you guys use?
So we don't really use a scheduling calendar for our meetings. However, whenever we have an open house or we have an event that requires a registration, I have created an account with Eventbrite, a free account, but then you have a limitation of only 25.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm inviting at least 40 people with my Google Calendar invites, but
right.
I think I'm reaching my max too.
I'm going to explore Google Calendar for an event in future.
Yeah, I like it.
with it. However, we've never explored it for Princeton Toastmasters events. But that's a good idea.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to explore this.
I love it best because we can add the location. So if we happen to change locations, which we've done sometimes, one time we've met at a open or at a restaurant, and then if it's
Hmm.
open house, I'll even put like notes in the Google Calendar, like the Zoom link, and if they have a question, they can call me and I'll provide my number.
That's great. Yeah, it's a tool I hadn't considered before. For the district, we use Buffer to schedule in advance, so I can schedule Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram all at once. We do have a paid version just because we're at the district level. They probably have a free version. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Later has a free template for Facebook and Instagram and maybe Twitter as well.
Later? How do you spell that?
Later, yeah, just Later. So if you look up Later scheduling, you should find it. But Buffer, I really enjoy and like. Obviously, there's Hootsuite as well, but I know they charge now.
Oh, yeah.
And then for anyone who's not familiar, within Meta Business Suite in Facebook, you can schedule in advance. And if you
Yes.
have your Instagram linked, you can do both. You can also schedule in advance within the platform for in LinkedIn and Twitter, X, whatever you call it. There's like a little timer looking button under both, and you can drop down and pick your calendar. So you can manually do it through the platforms themselves if you don't have a paid tool.
Right. I have actually
Yeah.
utilized the Facebook event a feature. We have our Princeton Toastmasters 45th anniversary coming up in May, and the outreach was quite good with Facebook events. I've got 10 people who are already going, which means they've registered and purchased the tickets, and we have 10 that are interested on top of everybody else that has already registered themselves. So events has a good outreach. The only thing about events is you need to encourage members to like it. The more people like that event or update their profile to indicate that they're either interested or going or considering, the good thing about that is it will feature on their Facebook page. So the outreach for events is huge and something worth considering.
Very nice.
Absolutely. How about you, Shane? Any tools you use that you haven't mentioned? Creative scheduling, Meetup, anything like that?
Well, I'm glad somebody just put in the chat. I did want to mention for Meetup, because Meetup, again, I'm talking about from an advanced club standpoint, and from the advanced club, we didn't see as much traction with Meetup, but however, for my community club, Meetup, we brought in most of our members from Meetup and very consistently. So I would definitely be remiss if I didn't mention Meetup. So I highly encourage you to use Meetup, and I'm not sure if Lavina, Tiffany have used that much, or how much, Hannah, you've used it, but it's a very effective tool. So
Yeah,
and
Is it free though, Shane?
sorry, what?
Is it free, Meetup?
Yeah, no, there is a fee. I'm trying to recall what it is. It's not much.
It is free. It is free.
Okay, you get a free. Okay.
You have to
Oh,
contact
that's
Hannah.
right.
You have to contact Hannah because she controls the District 38 group. And she can add you to the District 38 group, and then you can advertise on there. The only thing with that is with any district meetup page, they're in regions. It's mapped by regions. So you would be probably in the Trenton region, and that's the outreach who would go out to in that area. Now, my Lower Bucks Club, we have our own account so that we're not restricted, because we're in Pennsylvania in Levittown in Bucks County. So to advertise in Trenton doesn't do us any good. So we have our own account that we pay for so that we advertise in the local area. But Meetup works very well.
I agree. Yeah, we're in Voorhees and we're part of the Mount Laurel region on Meetup. It works for us because it fits our the people who are coming are in that region. But we get at least one guest pretty much every meeting, and I would say 75% come from Meetup and the other handful come from Facebook. So I agree, Shane. Super effective tool. And yes, you can run it through me. That's fine. Joe Smith still does some of the Meetup stuff, but I have the contacts to funnel it through. So please, if you're not utilizing Meetup or you want to know if your region is covered through the district's expense, please reach out, and it's definitely a good one to use.
So we just send you an email, Hannah, for Meetup?
Yep, you can go ahead and send me an email. You can use it comes right to me, but you can use the. I'm
I
almost
put your
positive.
email in chat for you, Hannah. Your
Oh,
Gmail account?
yeah, that's fine.
No, I got it.
The PRM comes right to me anyway, so might as well just put the personal one. Perfect. All right.
Great.
So for the next question I had, what is for the panelists, for those who are starting from scratch with a social media profile, what tips would you offer to help them get started?
Well, I can take this. I recently had to transition the VPPR duties for about a month and a half, because I've been tied up with my work schedule, to somebody who doesn't use social media at all. And someone who doesn't use social media can be very cautious. That there's a reason why they don't use social media. So the number one tip that I would give is, as opposed to just making somebody an admin to the Facebook page. So for example, with Princeton Toastmasters, somebody had to make me an admin, which means it's associated to my Facebook page as well. And there could be some security concerns around these things, with everything that's going on these days with hacking and stuff. I would say try and open up an account for your club with the credentials of your club. So like that, you're not giving out personal information of the person that's managing that account. Keeping things generic and simple is always the way to go, unless somebody wants to market themselves, which is not the case in my case. I like keeping things, my professional and personal life, separate. So that's something I would say. And I guess for anyone who's starting from scratch, you just got to support them. That's the only other thing. Offer as much as support as you possibly can for somebody starting from scratch.
Absolutely.
I would like to add, definitely want to put the word out for the members within your club to follow it, like be active, proactive about getting people to follow, and also, take the time to follow them back. I know when I became a member and took on the position of VP PR, that was one of my main goals, was to grow our media following. So I made sure to follow everyone that was coming to our club, whether they're a member or a guest, and even, make posts about it on Facebook, even message people on Facebook, hey, follow us on Instagram as well. And also all the other Toastmasters clubs, to show that, we have a following, we're following people, there's more engagement. And also whenever we would post, we would make sure to send direct messages to those followers as well, and people that are engaging in our content.
Yeah, great tips. How about you, Shane?
Yeah. And I'd say if you're starting out, I completely agree. And be patient. I think that's another thing I would just suggest, that be patient, build it up. And Tiffany gave great feedback. Just make sure you get folks to follow you, you follow them, and it will grow. And especially if you're consistent in doing it right, that you'll see the traction evolve. So that's, I guess, my one tip is, I speak for my I'm helping to run my wife, Roxy, her LinkedIn. I've taken over her LinkedIn, and so anyway, but side conversation. But yeah, just be patient, and yeah.
Yeah, be patient, but also take the lead, which is why we take on these positions to be leaders in our clubs. And, maybe it's my sales background, but I'm very good at being direct with people. And I always remind people, like within sales, get the sale, get a follow, like make sure you're proactive, because people, the common sense is not common, right? Like they won't follow unless you ask them to follow or you keep reminding them. So that's a major one. Just continue to remind them. And also I wanted to add, I don't know if this is the best place to put it with this question, but I wanted to add that another thing that's really worked out for us and has gotten people excited about our social media presence is just good quality content. And I know taking good pictures is one thing, make those pictures quality pictures with proper lighting. Get that tripod that costs $10 on Amazon, take those good group pictures. But also for our open houses, we go a little above and beyond, and I'll get a professional photographer to video it. And even though it costs us between $100 and $150, I've learned to get fundraisers, sponsors. I'm sorry. I've gotten sponsors for our open houses for other local businesses so that they can be in front of a great crowd of people that are trying to better themselves and people that are trying to be leaders in the community. So I've gotten food that has been sponsored, and also the videographer was one thing we got sponsored, and we were able to put a beautiful recap video that I literally repost every week before we have a meeting. And it's like a nice high quality, like come to Toastmasters, and it shows the angles of what looks like a big crowd and people clapping, and it gets people excited and they want to know what we have to offer. So that one video I can repost all year long, but it still hits. It's still good quality, and we can reuse it time and time again. And you can also post it on Facebook, and Instagram offers the ability to pin certain posts, so you can keep that at the top of your page and everyone can see that first.
Yeah, I love that. Wow, we gotta take some tips from you on open house, and we've just been paying
Yeah,
for our
check out our
food.
Instagram. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can check out like our quality.
Yeah,
I'm really
please
proud of
do.
it.
See it. Yeah, from my perspective, I wore the full-time social media hat in my professional role for a while, and I agree with everything these people are saying. One, I would say when I took over, I ran Drexel University's core accounts for about a year and a half. And even though I had inherited a large following and had all the tools, it took a good 6 months of consistent posting to really start to see a spike in growth. So it doesn't matter how great it is, something you're inheriting is, doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch. You really have to persist and post quality content, either daily, weekly, monthly, to start to get that crowd. So definitely persist. The second point, which I'd like to echo, which many of them made in some form or fashion, is to really include people. 99% of the time I've asked someone to contribute something, them personally, they've said yes. Whether and when I offer someone or ask someone to participate, I always give them two options because some people don't really like doing videos. So for the conference, for example, I asked people, would you contribute a 30-second video or a quote and a photo that I can form into a graphic? And it was split. Some people did a video, some people chose to give a photo or quote. So feel like that really helped people because they had options and felt like no matter what their comfortability was, they could contribute something.
Love that.
All right. The next question was about how can club members or fellow officers better support those who are doing the social media, whether you're the VPPR or the social media chair? Is there something that club members can do to help you?
Well, because I'll start off with some of what I'll say has already been covered, but just again, following, liking, I mean that as basic as that is, just try to be consistent when the posts are made. That if you can, if it's appropriate, share it, like it, react at a bare minimum. That definitely is helpful. And I'll say that if you are not the one, so at our club, we do put out a summary after each meeting. An email goes out summarizing, what the kind of the learning points were. And again, in that we have links to our social media accounts. We again highly encourage folks to go there, like, follow, react, share. So that's something that's very consistent messaging from our club to our members and also our guests. So
Awesome. How about you, Lavina?
I would totally echo Shane's sentiments. Like, share, comment, please, because that goes a long way. And Princeton Toastmasters also sends out a summary after each meeting, but that's an email blast. When I post pictures of the meeting, I will try and include the word of the day and just a couple sentences, about the meeting and how that went. And I congratulate the winners. So when we're posting the names of the winners, it would be nice to, say something like, whatever, congratulations, or just even, just one word, awesome, thank you, whatever, or just a like goes a long way. So definitely like, share, comment.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely. And to add to all of that is just to make sure that the content is intentional, to make them feel included and encouraged, appreciated, and seen. And I think we do that really greatly on our social media platform, especially on Instagram, where I too like to post and congratulate our winners. Or sometimes we'll have a flyer before the meeting and have the word of the day prior to our meeting and post that, like, here's the grammarian of the day, here's the word, try to use it in a sentence and have a description and DM that to a bunch of people. So we're just trying to find different ways to engage with people and also collaborate on posts so that it shows up on their pages as well, like on Instagram. Like one of our club winners for the international speech, I was able to capture his entire speech and post it on Instagram and collaborate with not just from our page, not just him, but also my personal page. So all my followers got to see, and we racked up all these views. And even when I untagged myself, so it could just be true to our page and his, now we have all these likes and views that we can hold on our page. So another great tip I wanted to add is, although I guess I would consider myself an influencer, I think it's important for us to reach out to other influencers that look like they would benefit from being a part of our club. And I've done that. I've met people in networking situations where I see a good speaker who can do better, who can improve, and I approach them like that, like, hey, you have a great message. I would love to help you, refine that, come to our club. And that has worked. And that's the type of energy that we, convey at our club and we attract. And that's why it's really getting exciting that at least the last year, like, we're getting better speakers that care, more leaders in the community. And that's just such a beautiful thing we want to harvest. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone who looks like they're already a good speaker. A lot of times we want to reach out to people that, are just starting out, but sometimes good speakers want a better environment to be great. Like the guy right now who is advancing in the international speech, he was a very active member who went ghost for a couple years because of life. But then I believe my energy and the new members that had joined had reeled him back in. And now he's a leader again, and we get to, like, he's our poster child for our club, and he's a wonderful speaker, and he makes the new people feel inspired, and now he's a mentor again. So it's really important to just have that energy and just continue to reciprocate it in different ways.
Absolutely. I can see why people buy houses from you, Tiffany.
That's
You're very
8 years. 8 years in the making.
absolutely. One question or comment I saw in the chat as well was about using word of the day and other content as filler content. I really like that strategy. There are some other ways that I've done that on the district page and Voorhees Toastmasters Club. I'll offer a couple, and then if you guys have other suggestions, please chime in. I've also done word of the day. If you go on Toastmasters International, you can type Toastmasters Magazine, and they publish really great articles every month. They do a member spotlight, they do tips for club officers, they share things about the speech contest, all types of tips. I've done a member profile for them. So it's really good filler content because it's about Toastmasters, it's meaningful, they have pictures and link preview. So I think you could use those once or twice a month easily. Sometimes I have a club newsletter that I do quarterly. Maybe you have something similar, so I repurpose that content a lot into graphics or quotes or whatever that looks like. I've also utilized Google Forms to get people to fill out, like, I'll ask a couple questions, they'll submit it, and then that's nice filler content to do a quote block with or whatever that may look like. So those are a couple things I've used. Has anyone else, and even if you're not a panelist, feel free to jump in here. Is there any other type of filler content you've used to keep your feeds active?
And I want to chime in before I forgot about one thing, one comment that I can't remember if it was Tiffany or Lavina made. I think it was Tiffany about, reaching out to, yes, the folks who may not consider, like, they may already be speaking and writing it, but they might want to improve. I'll give a perfect example. Over the last several months, I've gotten into do improv. I've been taking many improv classes and workshops, and you'd be surprised, when you think of improv or stand-up comedy, which I've also gotten into. Those folks, oh, you think they're secure and they don't have any issues with being in front of an audience, but that's actually, you'd be surprised. I'd say 90% of the folks who I talk about Toastmasters, they're very intimidated. There was a professional group that tours across the US, and I spoke to one of the individuals. They do Shakespeare improv, and he said that he was actually really, even now he's been touring, how nervous he is, and he's never been in an environment like a Toastmaster where he's getting proactive feedback, which is that's what makes our program so unique. You may have these folks who are up there doing these things, but they're not getting the feedback and that you get in a Toastmasters program. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to anyone, because anyone could benefit no matter what level they are, even if they are a paid speaker. Honestly, I've gotten paid speakers to come to Toastmasters and they say, oh yeah, this is really great, I should have done this years ago. So
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had even pastors come, people who have all types of public facing roles. Definitely. Yeah, and I see Craig's dropped a couple suggestions in the chat too. And Sue, mentor moment, word of the day, seasonal content, member recognition. Toastmasters International, you're right, they do post almost every day. So reposting right from their profile is a great way to just engage and share some stuff. I'll also share, just because I'm super proud, because she's from Voorhees Toastmasters Club, but we have the world champion of public speaking right here in our district. So that's some great stuff to post. She's always flurrying on social from her conference appearances. She's been on numerous podcasts. She has multiple magazines and things that have talked about her. So that's a great way to share content. Like, what better way to inspire people than that we have the best of the best right here in our own district. All right, well, those are all my pre-scheduled questions. I'd love to give people a couple moments to drop any questions in the chat if you'd like to unmute and just ask a question. Oh, please, Shane, jump.
yeah, and while yeah, I just want to chime in. One thing I do want to emphasize is just, again, from the experience of especially from Toastmasters, that LinkedIn is a heavily underutilized tool, and I found that to be extremely effective. Also, I just want to, again, re-emphasize that for just getting exposure to Toastmasters, folks who may not have heard of it or may have heard of it and were curious. And again, obviously attracting folks to your meetings. We've gotten numerous folks, I know, reach out to me when they see a post on LinkedIn asking, and especially for their organization, right? So it may not be, that individual may not be interested in Toastmasters. However, they may know folks in their organization who need it, who they're going to direct to Toastmasters, which has happened on numerous occasions. So I just, again, want to plug LinkedIn as an excellent platform.
Shane, when you post on LinkedIn, is this on your personal account or you have a separate account for your club? How does that work?
Yes, no, thank you. And that's actually a good I did not make a separate, so right now it is through my personal account, but we should create a separate one. But yes, I do post through my personal account for the Toastmasters. And
then you're able to attract folks to your club through.
Yes, yeah, and it has been great. Even, I mean, both work colleagues who've indicated to me they're interested, as well as beyond. Now, I mean, what I do for a living, I basically connecting with companies, organizations. That's part of my job. So in that case, that also helps.
It helps, yeah.
Connections, yes, but it is a really great platform. So
yeah, I definitely agree. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hannah.
No, Lavina, go ahead.
I agree, just because someone's out there speaking to the public or on a stage, it does not mean they're not intimidated. Most people, more often than not, are intimidated about speaking in public and speaking correctly or sounding nice and sounding good and right and things like that. So I think more people are looking for help. I see a lot of professionals who are currently presenting because of their professional roles, but then they want to do better. They want to sound professional, or they want to attract the C-suite when they speak. And that's where Toastmasters comes in. Mm-hmm. So LinkedIn would definitely be a great attraction point.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the value of your personal network. Even if you only have 300, 400, 500 connections on LinkedIn, I've been a member for 4 years. I post all the time, and I've had a few people reach out and ask, hey, I tried to contact a club, didn't hear back. Do you have any tips? And then either I can help them overcome a challenge, or maybe they don't even know where to start and help them get connected. But people that need to see things, they say 12 to 20 times before they'll actually convert and do something. So you could be one of those 12 reminders that encourage them to reach out someday.
Ooh, I have a question.
Yeah.
May I interject?
Yeah, please.
Okay, this is a question for all you guys that I really could use your help with. How do you guys convert guests into members right away? Because I know me and my officers have talked about ways that we're gonna send them a Google form right away and ask them, their information, and maybe put together the pathways and say which one would you choose and like start that conversation right away. But we find that after meetings and life that, let me contact them. Maybe we'll see them again. We just don't know how to grip them right away. What do you guys do?
And I saw you raised your hand.
Tiffany, don't wait till after the meeting. No, have those applications at the
Absolutely.
meeting.
We do that.
Talk it up and say, sign up today. Don't miss
Yes.
this awesome, and do it with your passion that is coming through, and give them that application then. And make sure your treasurer's there and tell them we take cash if you don't have a check, if you have a bank account. All right.
Yes,
Just
we did start
take,
doing that recently, but like, is there a digital version that you guys also do, or do you find just like maybe hybrid? Like, or if someone's on Zoom, how would we contact
follow it up
them?
with an email. Have that application ready and pre-fill it out with club
Pre-fill.
information
Yes.
and send it to them.
Okay.
Even the ones you give the hand application to, if they don't return it at the
Right there.
meeting, that night I am sending an email out to those people that attended the meeting and saying, and I am here to help you. And now that it's self-paid,
Email.
if
Yeah.
your club enables that, I can add you as a member. You will get notice from TI, and you have the opportunity to go in and make your own payment and be a member immediately. Just,
Do you have a
and then we're
template
going,
email that you use for like new members?
yes, I
You just
do.
copy and
I'll,
paste
sh-
it?
I'll share it with you. I'll give it to
Yes.
you.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Ann. You got me
Put
fired
your
up.
email in the chat so I have it.
Okay.
How about you, Lavina? You have your hand raised. Princeton Toastmasters is booming. You guys have a lot of members, so we need your insights.
Right, and that's what I wanted to share, what we do at Princeton Toastmasters. So at an average, at every meeting, we have about 8 to 10 guests, and we have about 20 to 25 members attending.
Awesome.
I definitely say when people take on roles, especially the role of a greeter, you need to set that expectation that the greeter needs to stand right there by the door, greeting
We don't even
members.
have that position.
So you need to have a position of a greeter, because can you imagine? What I want to also add is create a very warm and vibrant vibe for your club and your meetings. It should seem like it's a lot of fun, and everyone's very warm and bonded, which we are. We're not faking it, but you also need to show that to people so they get that vibe. And that's the number one feedback I know that we get at Princeton Toastmasters. So coming to the greeter's role, the greeter should be stationed at the door, greeting members, and definitely greeting guests, a warm greeting to guests, and stay there right until the meeting commences, and maybe hang around a little bit for people who trickle in late. The other thing is keep a sign-in sheet at the table right by the door as they walk in. So when you identify someone as a guest, they're coming in, they're signing up their names, they're providing their emails and a phone number. Take that list at the end of the meeting and make sure that it's communicated to your we send it to our VP membership, who then reaches out via email and contacts the guests and things like that. However, coming to Anne's point, which I completely agree with, and that is what we do after the meeting. So in the beginning of the meeting, we the president introduces the guests. Everyone stands up. We ask the guests to introduce themselves. And then at the end of the meeting, we ask the guests what they think about the meeting. 9.5 out of 10 times they're positive. And I would say 6 out of 10 guests land up signing up for as new members. At the end of the meeting, you should set that sort of tone of expectation of all your club officers at least and veteran members, to reach out to guests, to talk, to chat, and just do some small talk. Everyone loves small talk, so they feel attracted to the club. And it's not only now a public speaking club, or it's not just a Toastmasters club. I'm most likely also going to land up making new friends here, which is what we all want as well, or extend our network. So yeah, I'd say, be vibrant, be warm, and at the same time, be efficient and stay on top of the task.
That's great.
Absolutely. Those are some great tips. Shane, do you want to add something?
Yes, I'll just say, value, 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 right? So making sure you hammer that home. They're coming there for a reason. In addition to number one, yes, warm and friendly environment. I'll speak again from the fact that, SAT is all virtual, right? So that makes it, I think, more difficult in a sense, because I found when you're in person, there's just a different dynamic there, right? Versus meeting someone completely virtually. So that's important. The follow-up, as was mentioned, doing a phone call, really forming that personal connection, beyond the meeting, but then also being willing to stay on the Zoom a little later if they're willing to, to chat with the members, especially the officers. Value, but then I also use, FOMO, fear of missing out. That's a big one. So again, I mentioned about sending out the emails, and I sent out email summaries of here's all the value, here's everything you missed. And that is very effective because, again, you don't, a year from now, right, you're going to be in the same spot you are unless you're at SAT and you're you're proactively receiving that feedback and growing, and you don't want to miss out and be a year down the road and look back and say, oh, if only I had attended in case SAT or one of the our wonderful Toastmasters clubs.
Yeah. And I would say a way you can utilize social media as well is to highlight the diversity within your clubs. That's the feedback I get so often about Toastmasters, and particularly with Voorhees Toastmasters, is that what draws people into this organization is the great diversity that we have in all forms and fashions. We have men, women, we have people coming right out of college, we have people who are retired, we have people of all races, people who grew up here, people who immigrated here. So everyone kind of feels welcome there, and I feel like that's something great that we can highlight in our profiles as well, whether that's through pictures, testimonials, whatever that is. I feel like it's one of the few clubs where people aren't all from the same profession or age group or college. It brings all of us together.
Yeah, and Hannah, along that line, I also emphasize to folks, imagine you've got to pay everyone in this room to be here for this next hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, what that would cost you, right? Just to get them all in the room, and then, their time and their feedback, their support. I mean, it's a huge thing that Toastmasters offers, which is well beyond the cost of what we actually pay. So the return
Absolutely.
on investment is, much higher.
And one thing I encourage people to do too, and if maybe this is something you can post in your profiles as well, but people often don't realize that their employer, if they are employed, will pay for Toastmasters to alleviate the cost. So I found that when I tell people that, if that is something their organization will do, sometimes that incentivizes them, like, oh, well, this could be a professional development thing, or I don't have to pay for it, or whatever that looks like can also be helpful. I've had other people have success with getting their workplaces to pay for it. I don't see any other new questions here. I do see a couple comments, which I can drop in the email summary as well.
I see one about Meetup real quick about someone not having a consistent good experience. Now I'm not sure if you were on. I see Ellen when I was talking about Meetup, and we did my community club I was in had a lot of success at Meetup, and we did have folks becoming members. Now not everyone, I'll say, like, we did have a large percentage that RSVP'd and never showed up, but there was still very consistently, I would say the vast majority of our new members came from Meetup. So we did and I'm not sure, again, if it was just being consistent on Meetup with posting our meeting times and things, but we were getting folks coming, and then having sign-up sheets and everything that was mentioned here, getting them to transition into membership.
Yeah, I'd say the details are important too with Meetup. Like, we meet hybrids, I have to stay on top of making sure that's updated. We meet in the library, so putting specific directions like go to the third floor, meeting room A, and then once they get upstairs, I have a big sign outside the door so that they don't miss it when they get there. Or if we meet at the restaurant, making sure the hostess knows where to point people when they get there. So all those little details matter, especially if people are timid to come in the first place. On your meetup, you can have a contact if people get there and they don't know how to reach out. Like Shane said, you can engage with them if they do RSVP and say that they're coming. But I would say just making sure that it's up to date. There's clear directions. There's a contact name for when people arrive, where they're going. And if you are hybrid, to make sure that the links for the virtual meetings are available too. But I guess it can be a mixed bag, but I've seen it work very successfully in both the clubs I was part of before. I used to work in Pennsylvania, so I was at a different club at one point. And then finally, I just saw Craig post something about WhatsApp group. We actually talked about that as we prepped for this session, of using that as a way for VPPRs to encourage each other. So I think it's great that we're hearing that multiple times, and it's definitely something we should explore.
I'll say the WhatsApp. I'm not sure if you've had opportunity, a lot of you to visit international clubs. I've tried to do that as many times as I can, especially Singapore for whatever. They're very active, and so I've been able to sit on many Singapore meetings, and they use WhatsApp. And I'm trying to remember where the other clubs were low, but yeah, WhatsApp is I've noticed heavily used in at least Singapore and some of the other countries. So
That's so cool. It was ineffective in my club. I don't want to blame it on the
yeah,
age, but some people just refuse to open up that app. So it didn't really work for us, but hopefully in the future.
Great. Well, this was a really great discussion. As I said, we'll do the recording and recap. If you have any questions in the interim about setting up an account, need some content to get going, I'm here as a resource as the public relations manager. Always happy to meet one-on-one or help brainstorm as needed. I know that Anne dropped my name in the chat. The alias is PRM at tmdistrict38.org. So those come right to me as well. So if you forget, and you could just look on the website and ping me that way.